Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and it's time for the season finale of The Legend of Vox Machina, episodes 10, 11, and 12. Those are the Killbox, Belly of the Beast, and the Hope Devourer. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you feel lucky or you feel like gambling, you hit that bell down below, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live. Best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also have all the links to my social media and all the links to my pages as well. All right. With that out of the way, all that advertising. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil these 3 episodes and the rest of the season here. So if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Give you enough time to pause, stop, whatever you need to do. All righty. So yeah, I mean, we basically where we left off at the end of episode 9 with Grog facing his uncle Kevdak, and in his weakened state, and decides to challenge Kevdak, who's got the oh man, he's got one of the vestiges of divergence on. He's got the knuckle dusters there, and yeah, he gets the shit kicked out of him. Um, of course, and at one point, Scanlan and Pike end up getting captured as well as Kaylee, who is there, and Grog gets impaled and finally reverts back to he starts seeing the old guy who we saw at the very beginning of the season, who kicked Grog's ass earlier and kept asking him what's the strength of his power, and that whole he finally realizes it's his friends, and he ends up getting his strength back and starts wailing on his on his uncle, and at this point the other members of Vox Machina have shown up and joined in the fray. And long story short, of course, Grog ends up cutting his uncle in half with an axe after um, Vex does this nice little move where she releases Trinket out of the trinket and puts Grog in there, and then shoots him up into the air, and then lets him go, and he just drops from above with that axe, and it's just great. Well, yeah, of course he was going to get his strength back. We knew he was going to get his strength back. Yes, a nice non-talking axe, exactly. Um, so of course he is now leader of the herd at this point, and but he does not want to be the leader of the herd, and he actually puts his cousin in charge, basically Kevdak's son, who Kevdak was going to kill anyway. Um, but he also says, "Hey, we're gonna go kill some dragons. You want to join us?" And they're like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, we'll do that, but we need a plan." And so, of course, this whole plan thing comes about because of Percy. So Percy has a plan that he's digging on. In the meantime, Vax is still trying to figure out, getting his head around this whole vestige that he's wearing and the Matron of Ravens. And he finally goes and goes to talk to the Matron of Ravens. This is after he has a little talk with Scanlan, who Scanlan, by the way, finds out that Kaylee is his daughter. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, I mean, you could see it coming, but then, yeah, it was out of nowhere too. So Kaylee is his daughter. Scanlan and Vax have a little heart to heart talk about shit changing all the time in their group, and how it's time to stop running and just face what's coming and actually deal with the consequences of what you're doing. And so Vax ends up talking to the Matron of Ravens and finds out that what his purpose is, why he has this armor, and what he is supposed to do now. excuse me, and that death is meaningful, and that it's also life as well, life and death meaningful, in that he is to protect that sacred bond, if you will, between life and death. And so that is what he's there for. And it was kind of an interesting thing there. So he's now become a little more he's less afraid of death now at this point, and he's accepted what he's going to do. And then of course they end up trying this plan out to kill Umbriel, and it obviously does not work. Umbriel smashes the fucking trap that they have, starts hosing down people with acid, and then also the motherfucker can disappear. So yeah, he can disappear, and that is problematic. Obviously, he can turn invisible. I should say, not just disappear. And they were able to get him to reappear again after hurting him a bit. And Scanlan has an idea of he decides to do the so there was a theory about how Ant-Man could have defeated Thanos, and that is basically he goes inside Thanos, and when he's small and then grows really big, just automatically, and pops Thanos from the inside. That was a um, there was always that idea that was put out there. So Scanlan actually takes that idea, and with him and Vex, or excuse me, Vax. Vax actually, by the way, ends up having wings at this point, or no, actually he doesn't. I take that back. I jumped ahead of myself there. Yes, Thanos. There you go, CBM. Um, Scanlan ends up taking Vax with him, and they go into the butt of Umbrasyl. And yeah, just say that, it's just ridiculous, but it's just as ridiculous to watch. And Scanlan uses the sword that Kaylee had used on him, which is if you activate it and put it in place, you can't move. So he's in the belly of Umbrasyl, who's on the ground, places it, on his stomach, and as Umbrasyl goes to fly, he is getting poked by this sword. And so Umbersyl's just like, fuck it. And he flies up and rips that sword right through his belly and starts flying off with Vax and Scanlan inside the belly there. Um, yeah, it's just brutal. I mean, they end up getting out, of course, and Vax ends up finding out that he has wings that he can use. He calls on the matron of ravens again and ends up getting wings. Uh, Grog is not so lucky because he hitches a ride and he falls and ends up getting pretty much broken apart. Uh, and Pike has a little trouble putting him back together again. So, Mork says, I saw the whole series 3 days. Oh, yeah. Nice. Very nice. It wasn't skinny Grog that time. It was big Grog. So, of course, they go and fight Umbrasyl in his domain, and they do end up killing him. They eventually end up killing him, taking him down, but it takes everyone. And I mean, they're pretty much beaten to shit, even with their vestiges that they had. I mean, at one point, Umbrasyl has taken some of the vestiges. Scanlan's getting ready to run, and Scanlan finally decides that he needs to man up a bit, and he ends up taking Mythcarver from Umbrasyl and stabbing him in the eye, and then of course activating Mythcarver and taking him down. So yeah, it's and of course they discover the big pot of gold that Umbrasyl's got as well. Yeah, and that doesn't hurt either. So they end up going back to um, Percy's hometown, and I just blanked on it. Whitestone. There we go. And Whitestone, of course, is under a protective dome too. This is the other thing too, a protective spell to protect them from the dragons, so the dragons don't see them. And they're reporting back, and everyone's celebrating. And as they're sitting around the table celebrating, everyone except for Vox Machina and Keeper Yemen fall asleep or pass out, drop. Almost seems like they're dropping dead, but they're not. And it turns out that Keeper Yemen is actually being taken over, or I guess you could say possessed by Rashan, which is one of the dragons. And Rashan's like, you know what? Thordak is a fucking dick. I hate him just as much as you guys do. Let's get together so we can take him down because that motherfucker is insane. And they're wondering, everyone's wondering why, Thordak wants all this gold. And that part hasn't been made clear as of yet. But what we do know is when Vorgel ends up going to talk to Thordak and telling him that Umbrasyl is dead. Uh, Thordak says, that's fine. They can come for us with their vestiges. Nothing that's not going to stop them, because we have an army of our own that's coming, coming to life here. And he reveals that there's a clutch of dragon eggs all over the place. And that is where he's getting his army of dragons there. And that's where we leave off on season 2. And holy shit, I mean, that's just kind of a big reveal there. So, yeah, lots and lots and lots of eggs. Exactly. Yeah. Um, Mork says, I don't doubt Dennis. I sometimes don't enjoy it as much like with Extraordinary. Yeah, that's fine. We all have different tastes. Some of them are bad. Yeah, some of them are good. So this was actually a really good season. Everyone leveled up, I guess you could say. And, we have vestiges, of course, that people have gotten. Um, People have gotten new powers. People have grown. All these characters have grown at some point. And I understand that this has already been played out, uh, you know, um, on YouTube, that this story has gone through YouTube and all that stuff, and some things have been changed here and there. I haven't watched any of the stories on YouTube, by the way, so I haven't watched any of that that Critical Role did early on, and I'm here for the animation and for the characters. I like what's going on here, so I'm happy to be in the dark as to where this is going, and I'm liking the series. I know they're starting to do. They're talking about doing a spin-off series as well. I guess there was a spin-off series that Critical Role had done, and I can't remember what it's called right now. But supposedly that is being talked about by Amazon doing that as well. Um, let's see here. Mark says since the moment he wanted to get the vestiges and Thordak just ignored it. Yeah, exactly. Um, They'll need a flamethrower, but that might hatch them faster. Yeah, considering that they're all sitting in like molten gold from what it looks like. I don't know. Who's my favorite character, if any? I think I've said this before. It's Scanlan. Scanlan is my favorite character. He's kind of an asshole, but he really isn't deep down inside. He really isn't an asshole. I mean, Grog to some extent as well, is a close second just because Grog is kind of pure in in his form that he is. And but yeah, I would say it's Scanlan, definitely. So just because, he pretty much calls it as it is. He has no niceties to him. He really is an asshole for the most part. And I think that's kind of why I like Scanlan. That's right, the Scanlan hand. Plus he rocks too. That whole thing where they just start, when Grog says, "Are you ready to fuck some shit up, Vox Machina?" And the metal music starts and they start killing people, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, rock on." So, uh, yeah, exactly. And it's a giant hand flipping people. Yeah, Scanlan, he does the foot. I still like the butt that they landed in, and then when Grog lands in it, I forget what that was. It was like it was one of the first 3 episodes there, and When he landed in the butt, he thought they were boobs. So, I mean, there's good things all the way around. Yeah. But yeah, I think Scanlan is my favorite character, of course. Yep, we're so lucky these boobies were here. That was it. Yeah, the song lyrics are epic. I have to agree. I think from season one, there's a song in season one that I really like that Scanlan did that made me laugh. But yeah. And Penn, I forgot you actually said something at the very beginning here that you were watching Harley Quinn's Valentine's Day special. I am going to be covering that as well because, of course, it is an episode of Harley Quinn. So I'm thinking I'm going to cover that next week is what I'm going to do. Um, just because we need to talk about it. And yeah, there's some stuff in there that just made me fucking laugh. I mean, the whole thing with Dark Side. The dark side scene alone just made me fucking laugh. That's all I'll say. But anyway, I digress. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I watched it last night, Pen. I watched. I knew it was coming out, and I had to see it. Um. Oh, and by the way, for those of you out there, The Last of Us actually airs tonight, 9 p.m. That's actually on right now, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken. What time is it? If I can get my watch to actually work. Oh, my watch is dead. That's right. It's out of charge. Yeah, actually, it was on. It started about an hour ago. So, yeah, I'll be covering that tomorrow. Which means, what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow, like I said, is going to be The Last of Us, episode 5. Sunday I'll be off. Monday I'll be off. Tuesday will be another episode of I think I'm not going to do Is It Worth My Time on Tuesday. I think I'm just going to do Harley Quinn, the Valentine's Day episode on Tuesday. Wednesday will be The Bad Batch. Uh, Thursday will be actually there's not going to be anything on Thursday because Thursday is when I'm going to go see yeah, I'm going to go see Quantum Mania. There we go. I couldn't remember what I was talking about there. So, yeah. Yes, it usually airs on Sunday, but CBM, but the Super Bowl is on Sunday, so that's why they decided to do it tonight instead of on Sunday. Did you see The Wandering Earth 2? I've never heard of The Wandering Earth 1, so no, I haven't seen it, Marks. Yeah. And of course, I will get back to Is It Worth My Time? I will do Lockwood and Company. There's just so much shit going on, I got out work, a little bit later than I wanted to, got home later than I wanted to yesterday, all that kind of stuff. So that's why that didn't happen yesterday. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you know who you are, Marks. Take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms, all the stuff you've been watching, and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com, all one word, and take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there, all the links to my pages as well. And I have a list of all the stuff that's coming up in the future. Well, the stuff that, a lot of stuff that I'm interested in, I know you're interested in as well. So that's what's up there. And I edit that thing as, more and more stuff gets announced as it comes out during the year. So, with that said, thank you, everyone. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may wind up in the belly of a dragon that has a belly full of acid, and it's really not good because if you cut your way out, he's still flying. It's a big long drop. So, thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night, and Stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get the boosters as well. Doesn't worry about those boosters. And I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks, everyone. Good night.